All right, let's get this started. Hello, everybody. This is Aaron Cassover from Agent Methods. Thanks for joining today. We're here to talk about getting found online. This is your crash course on SEO or search engine optimization. And we're going to talk about search engines, how they work, how you can leverage them to grow your insurance sales. This is the first in a 4-part series that we're doing about marketing and growing your business online, using technology to scale your sales and to prepare yourself for the very quickly evolving future that we're moving into. This series is a joint venture. I mentioned I'm from Agent Methods. We are also working with Quotit and AHCP to put this together. And so thank you to both of those organizations for helping out, joining in, and helping make this happen. And we do have Josh Hilgers from AHCP, and he wants to jump in just really quickly, give you a welcome and an intro as well. So Josh, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Aaron. Welcome. I think you guys are going to be very excited about the content of this webinar and the entire series. As many of you know, America's Healthcare Plan, or AHCP, helps brokers grow their business by supplying products, training, technology, and support in order to be successful in their business. It's part of the National General family of companies, whose brands include, of course, National General Insurance and Quoted as well. With so many in-house solutions, AHCP is able to provide start-to-finish turnkey solutions for agents and agencies who want to spend more time selling and less on those other non-sales tasks that eat into productivity. And Quotit is the all-in-one insurance quoting, enrolling, and lead management solution designed for today's insurance professionals. So whether your primary business is done through traditional face-to-face, telephonic, or e-commerce sales, or all of the above, Quotit offers solutions that can help transform your customer's experience with convenience, personalization, and automation. As Aaron said, we're very excited about this joint venture and providing you information that will help you succeed in this new digital age of selling insurance. I'm going to turn it back over to you, Aaron. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Josh. What I love about this is we have 3 organizations linking arms together with one focus, and that's to help independent agents make more sales. And certainly that makes me excited, and hopefully that is going to benefit everybody here. So we're talking about search engines. We're talking about getting focused, getting found online. And I'm going to warn you, I'm going to focus on reality here. I'm going to talk about, the real situation. I'm not making promises. I'm not going to show you any silver bullets. There are no silver bullets. Spoiler, I'm sorry to say that. If there was a silver bullet, I would be on the beach, not talking to you. Search engines are a fantastic tool, fantastic channel to grow your business. It doesn't just happen magically. And so we're going to kind of dive in on the reality to give you a plan of what to expect, to understand how they work, and to see how you can fit these into your business. The truth is that they do work, and this works really well, but you have to understand a few things. And so that's today's goal. We want to make sure that online marketing, search engines are a part of every agent's business today, because it is already, whether you know it or not. And so by understanding how they work, you can control that. Now, really quick housekeeping. I love interaction. If you have questions, if you have a thought, if we're talking on a slide and something pops in your mind, please, by all means, type it into the chat or the Q&A. I'd love to hear from you. I will do my best to answer those questions as we go. But if I don't get to it, I probably have tunnel vision. I'm probably just focused on what I'm talking about, and I missed it at that point. I will make sure at the end we go through and answer any questions that come up. So if I don't answer your question right away, hang tight. We will get to it, I promise. So just really quickly, this is a picture of me. I'm not going to give you my life story. I don't want to bore you. But I think there's really 2 things I want you to know. The first is that that's a picture of me. If you ever see this face in a conference, in a meeting room, in an airport, please come say hi. That would absolutely make my day. I am an introvert, and so I'm not going to make the first step. I'll be hiding behind the punch bowl against the wall. So come and say hello. I had a dream recently that I was about to start a Zoom presentation. I do a lot of these, and I couldn't get my computer to work. And it was kind of like the high school dream where you have to go to the class and you forgot the test. Um, I think it's my subconscious saying that I'm ready to see people in person. I think we all are. And so if we're in the same room, come say hi. I would be thrilled to see you. The second, as I mentioned, I'm a techie. I got an insurance license, and that means that my mom turns to me for tech support. And so she comes to me and asks all these questions about her computer. And finally, I said, Mom, just go buy a Mac, go buy an Apple. Not because I think one's are better than the other, but because there's the Genius Bar at the Apple store in the mall by your house, and you can go ask them questions. And then you can call me and talk about your grandkids. She did that, and it was great. My dad, I kid you not, at the Thanksgiving dinner table last year, came to me with a letter. We're sitting there, and the entire family's gathered around, and he has a letter he got from his insurance carrier about a rate change. And he's like, Aaron, what should I do? They want to change my rates. Should I change plans? And I said, Dad, you need to talk to your agent. That's what they're there for. And so he did that, took care of things. So I'm a believer in good tech support. I'm a believer in having a good agent that my dad can call so we can talk about grandkids instead of those things during Thanksgiving. I'm a believer in what you all do. Okay, so I want to give you a few examples of SEO at work. And I told you there's no silver bullets, but it does work. And so these are some real life agents. They're using Agent Methods, our software, our website platform, and they're seeing really good results. This first one is Carl from, he's in Illinois, Medicare and Prescription Services is his business. I love Carl. Carl is a great, knowledgeable, experienced agent. He works tirelessly for his clients. He loves his job. He loves a good product. He loves to find a good value. He loves to find ways to help his customers more. He does that really well. I don't think he knows a thing about SEO. I'm not saying that in a bad way. You know, he is an expert, or he's a specialist at what he does, but SEO is not his focus. And yet you can see, you know, he's right here toward the top, right at the, on the top of, you know, the search for Medicare agents in Illinois. And he's getting a steady stream of new business to his website. And he doesn't really even know why, but it's working. We'll talk about why. This one is Andrew. Andrew, another agent I love, you know, similar in that he works tirelessly for his clients. Andrew is a younger, kind of tech savvy agent. What I've seen about him is that he works hard in every aspect of his business. He does all the things he should do. You know, he's checking off all the boxes. He is diligent. He is focused. I know that he's taken a dive. He's learned about SEO. He's done some work here, and you can see that in his state of New Jersey, he is dominating right here. The first two results are his site. He's doing really well, and that's really cool to see. I know that his wife recently quit her job because they were so busy. She's now working with him. They're not buying any leads. They get all of their business through their website. It's fantastic. This is Lynn. Lynn's in California, another site on the Agent Methods platform. You can see right here, he is top of the page. He's on the map on his page. He's ranking for Medicare, life insurance, dental, all kinds of things that he sells. And it's bringing in business, bringing in new people in his community, in his area who are finding him and helping him make more sales and grow his business through his website, through search. The last example, this is not a great agent. This is the opposite. This is my demo site. And I was licensed years ago, but I'm not licensed now. So I even have a placeholder phone number, 555-4444, which is a fake phone number, but it was getting calls. I had my real number there and I was getting calls and I couldn't get back to people. This site ranks, and you know, it's stock content, stock Agent Methods site. It's bringing in leads. I get leads every month. I hand them out to local agents that work with us because they're finding my site. Just, is this happening? So there's just some examples of success. Now, of course, the question really is how do we do this? How do we make it work? How can you put this in place for your business? And I think the best way to explain all of this is to sort of take an opposite approach and to look at 4 myths and misconceptions, things that people often believe are true, but there's a different reality. And we'll look at the misconception and we'll look at the reality, and that will help kind of explain what you might think is true versus what really needs to happen. A few caveats: technology changes fast, things have changed fast. Certainly things that you've learned a few years ago, if you've learned about SEO, if you've been told things before, they were probably true at that point. But often they're not true anymore. So if you had a trick that worked, if something that used to work in the past, there's probably a good chance it won't anymore. And we'll have to talk about that a little bit. And then if you talk to people who do SEO for other industries, so they sell hot tub supplies, hot tub care supplies, or they are mail order dog food, and they know it works for them. Insurance is a special industry. It is a different industry. And so things that work in other industries often do not work and do the opposite. They hurt in insurance. And we'll go into that more. But keep that in mind, that what you hear out in the world outside of our vertical, our niche, may be true elsewhere, but often is not true here. So things that work with hot tubs or mail order pet food may get you in trouble in insurance. So the first myth is, some trick. All you need to do is put keywords in the meta tags and repeat them a lot in the page, or something like that. There have been all kinds of these things. They were like, just put white text on a white background with a bunch of keywords in it. There were these things called link rings, where you could have sites that all linked to each other. So you'd have a babysitter linking to a car wash, linking to an insurance agency, linking to a dog walker, linking to a pie baker. And the idea was that they all linked to each other, and that would create this sort of momentum. These tricks may work for a short period of time. And so you find a trick, you put it in place, you might get 3 months, you might get 6 months of a boost. It might work for a little while. You're tricking the system, but they don't work for a long time. Here is one that used to work and resulted in some really horrible web pages. So the idea was that if you took a phrase and repeated it a lot on a page, over and over and over and over and over again, that would make it really clear to search engines that that's what this page was about. And so here you can see, I apologize to whoever this agent is. They were trying to rank in Bellingham, Massachusetts. And so they used Bellingham, Massachusetts 20 times on this page. And the result was really some complete nonsense that would not pass a third grader's review. There's one, they say, when comparing Bellingham, Massachusetts plans. And there's no such thing as a Bellingham, Massachusetts plan. That's not a thing. It's just a keyword they put on this page. The result of this is a page with just gibberish, tons of keywords, totally unusable. Anybody gets here and it's clear what they're doing. It's not a good experience. And it's just somebody trying to trick search engines to bring them traffic. And when that traffic gets there, hopefully enough of them are okay with the grammatical errors that they get some business out of it. But this is a trick. Don't do this. This is the reality. The reality is that Google is hiring the best and the brightest out there to improve their product, to improve their search engine. They have over 20,000 PhDs working for Google. It's crazy, 20,000. In fact, they've hired so many PhDs in some topics like machine learning, where 80% of all machine learning PhDs now work at Google. They've hired so many of them that they now have an internal university where they are accredited and are issuing their own PhDs. You can actually go to Google, work there, and get a PhD while working there because all the faculty has gone there to work. Super, super smart people. And they're all putting their minds together, working together to find ways to make the results of their search engine the best possible. You're not going to trick them. I'm not going to trick them. You're not going to trick them. It's not going to happen. I'll tell you a story. Recently I was on a ski trip, a snowboard trip. I'm a snowboarder. And after a day on the slopes, I was in the hot tub, started talking to people there. Turns out a couple of them were engineers at Google. They'd been there for a while. And so I was, okay, great. I've got questions. And so we start talking about, how they work, what they do. And they started talking about machine learning and some things that they were doing at Google. And they told me the story about Google had acquired this company called Nest, which makes smart home devices. They make like a thermostat and a doorbell. And they were working on a sleep tracker, ways to improve sleep. And so they put a radar in a Nest device that they put in bedrooms. And it's kind of strange, but they were just tracking what was happening in that room to look at sleep quality, to see if they could identify like sleep apnea or poor sleep habits, bad sleep position that could lead to like bad backs, stuff like that. And they put this radar in the room, let the radar scan the room, and they gave it tons of data. So they were feeding in the heart rate, information about the people. They had sleep monitor information all into their system to try to figure out the stuff. And after they got a bunch of data, they wanted to fine tune body position, how people were sleeping. And they wanted to see if you're sleeping on your shoulder and it's going to cause you to have a bad shoulder, or if you're bad back. They want to look at body position and have this radar detect where you were sleeping. But they didn't have somebody to go lie there for 10 hours in a bad position. So instead they went and they got a dummy, shaped like a human. They put it in the bed on its side, and they turned the system on, let it run for a couple days. And they came back to look at the results, and the results said, there's no bad position. And they dug a little deeper, and the system didn't see any issues. They dug a little deeper, and they said, well, the system didn't see a person. And they had thought that the radar was identifying the shape of the outline of the dummy, and so it would know. But it turned out when they fed heart rate data to their algorithm, it figured out how to track vibrations that your heart causes in your hands and feet. And so it was using the vibrations to identify people. And without a heartbeat, without hands and feet vibrating, the system knew that the dummy was not a real human. And the point of this story is that even Google engineers couldn't trick Google. They went and tried to trick their own system, and it knew right away that this was a dummy, this was a trick, it was not really a human, and it just threw out the data. And the exact same thing is happening with websites. If you're trying to kind of be a trick, if you have dummy content, dummy tricks, the algorithm is going to find out, and it's going to just exclude that from its results. So instead, here's what you should focus on. You should focus on aligning yourself with what these 20,000 PhDs are doing. So their goal is to make their search engine show the best and most relevant results possible for the query somebody is searching for and that individual. So that stuffed page with Bellingham, Massachusetts plans all over it, that's not the best result. When somebody goes to a search engine and types in, Medicare plans or health insurance quotes, what are they looking for? Are they looking for somebody who knows a trick and can get themselves up at the top of Google? Or are they looking for somebody who can sell them the best plan? Are they looking for an agent who can go and help them? So we'll break it down. So we have a query, and the query is, it's words, but behind the words are some goal, some intent, some need. You go to Google, you go to search engines to solve a problem. You have something you need. So behind that query is your need. And then we have the searcher, who it is searching, and they're some location, some device. They have demographics. They have their own search and web browsing history. And so you take these things, you take age, ethnicity, income, the language they speak, what do they click on when they look at search results? What have they clicked on in the past? An example is I'm a bass player. So when I type in BASS, it shows me instruments. If you are a bass fisherman, you type in BASS, it will show you fishing gear. And search engines figure this kind of stuff out by our click and web browsing history. So the individual is important. And they put these together to figure out what the best result is for that query, that individual. And everybody's search results end up being different. They don't care about how the web page is structured, is the H1 tag in the right place? They care about, does the result solve my problem? Does it solve my need? And so the goal of a search engine is to do the same thing. They're not worried about H1 tags or structure of a page or technical stuff. They're worried about, does this page provide a good quality experience that's going to solve the problem of the person searching? That is the goal. So I have a pop quiz. I'm just throwing a quiz in here today. Do not worry. I am confident that you will all get 100% in this quiz. PhD is not required. So let's just kind of go through this. Let's imagine a query. Let's imagine somebody opens up a search engine and types in this phrase, Medicare insurance agent. And there you go, type that in. So that's the query. And then who are they? They're a 64-year-old woman in Lincoln, Nebraska. So we already know what they're looking for, right? So I'll show you two results and you tell me which one is the better one to show. So result one is the perfectly optimized. They knew every trick in the book. They built the perfect web page. They followed all the rules. They got all the things right. It's a perfectly optimized website that was built by a lead generation firm in India that's going to get leads and sell them. That's result one. Result two is the not so perfectly optimized website from a well-established senior market insurance agent in Lincoln, Nebraska. So the technical stuff is not quite right. The site is not perfect, but behind it is a great agent who's been working in the community for a long time, knows their products, and is really focused on helping 64-year-olds learn about Medicare. So go to chat, take a second, if you could. Tell me which one do you think should be shown first in Google? Option one or option two? Okay. Yeah, I think, well, I said I get it right. I do see some option ones. I'm interested in hearing why. The answer is option two. The answer is option two. That when when a 64-year-old woman in Lincoln, Nebraska is looking for a Medicare agent, she does not want a lead gen firm in India. What she wants is a Medicare agent. She's not looking for a web page. She's looking for a person who can help her. And I think that whether option one or option two wins, we all know the right answer is the agent. It's not the lead gen firm in India. The agent can help her solve her needs, which are to learn about Medicare plans, to explore her options, to figure out, what is all these parts and, what's Medicare supplement, Medicare Advantage. I don't understand these things. What do I pay? What are my deadlines? All these questions are going to be answered by a person. And so the answer is option two. And those 20,000 PhDs know this. They know that when somebody goes and searches for Medicare insurance agent, they want to find people like you to help them, not just a web page. So the winning strategy is to focus on building a great site, great experience for your customers that represents the quality that you serve, represents you and your brand, and not worry about tricks, not worry about restricting search engines, because this is what the 20,000 PhDs want. They want to help your customers get to you. When somebody goes and looks for insurance help on a search engine, what they really want is to connect with you. And so we just have to connect those dots together. So the second myth, and I see this a lot, is along the lines of, I need to create a new brand. I'm going online, I'm no longer just me. I'm a website. I need to create this new brand. And so you see these, Medicare quotes for you.com or, eHealth Medicare quotes now.com, these brands. And I'm going to tell you this right now, your brand does not end in .com. You are not a .com. You are an insurance agent and your customers know you as you. And one of the key ranking factors that we'll talk about this is connecting your offline and your online brand to make sure that your website has a clear path back to you, that they're not separate, they're not distinct, that they're one and the same. Your offline and your online brand need to be one and the same. And that ranking factor is this thing called your money or your life. And what's happened is Google has realized that there's certain categories of information, of content, of websites that, if presented incorrectly, can have serious consequences. Think about this. If you're going in for heart surgery, do you want to get information from a heart surgeon or an SEO firm that ranks a page really well? You want to get information from a heart surgeon, not just somebody who wrote an article because they can get clicks. So they made a list of topics, and they said anything that covers these topics that have an impact on your money or your life gets special consideration. And they want to make sure that people who maintain pages on this category have clear and demonstrated expertise, because otherwise the result could be harmful. It can be harmful to people's health, their finances, and their well-being. No matter how good the website is at SEO, it can be harmful. So this is a document Google publishes called their quality guidelines. And this is a list of topics that are your money or your life. And guess what? I outlined it in red. Insurance is there. So insurance is going to get this special consideration. Websites about car washes. Car washing is not on this list. Gardening is not on this list. Hot tubs are not on this list. So those things you hear about those industries, those people, don't apply, because they don't have to have this special consideration. What this means is it's going to take more time. It's going to be harder for sites to rank on these categories. You have to establish credibility. You have to show that there's a reason why you're talking about this, and there's a reason why you should be trusted. So the reality is that offline activity, your offline business, is a big indicator of trust. The fact that you are a real person, the fact that you exist in your community, the fact that you've gone and taken an exam for a license, that you have been appointed with insurance companies to represent them. All of these things are big indicators of your trust. That offline activity supports the reason why search engines should show your site instead of something else for this your money or your life page. It also means that your website needs to be validated. It needs to be connected to you. So things like your business license, your insurance license, your physical location, customer reviews, your social media profiles, the name people refer to you by offline, all of that needs to match. It needs to connect directly to your website so that they can make that connection that this website that you have is representation of you and your business, and that you and your business are the factor that makes it worthwhile to trust. And I see a great question coming in. How does Google know you're a real person offline and that you're trustworthy? And so we'll talk more about Google's index, but think about every piece of data out there in the world. Google is indexing it. So insurance licenses, the states all maintain a list of licensed insurance agents, and they have your name there. And so you can bet that that's being indexed. In fact, Google even tells us they're pulling in all the government data they can get their hands on. That is being indexed. That is being connected to your website, your physical location. And I know there's a lot of concern about showing your home address on your website, but there's some ways to make sure that Google knows where you're located so they can prove that you're actually physically there, and then connect that back to your website. And so you can connect these things together. So Lawrence, I see your question. Lawrence is asking that Google wants to register with a third-party certification company. I don't exactly know the situation that happened with you, so I'd love to learn more, but I don't have an answer for what happened with you. So here's what they say. This idea for these your money or your life pages, there's this concept that we call EAT, which is expertise, authoritativeness, the longest word, hardest to say word ever, and trustworthiness. And that for your money or your life pages, you need to demonstrate a higher level of trust, knowledge, and credentials. So licenses, locations, years in business, third-party validations, all of those things represent your credentials and you're the reason why they can show your content. This creates a moat. This is actually good news, because when you put this information into your website, when you connect it with your website, it makes it harder for others to compete with you. That lead gen firm in India that's just trying to get leads and sell them, they might have a few tricks that get them up and down, but they're not going to last because they can't build this moat. Once you get your site ranked, once you get your site established, you're going to have a position that's going to be very defensible. It keeps scammers away. It will help you long term. It does mean that it takes more work. It slows things down, especially for new websites, especially for new agents. If you don't have a long history online, a long history in the business, it's going to take more time. But once you get rankings, you are set. And I realize that there's a lot of questions coming in about, well, how do I connect the two? And this is why it's so important that your brand matches, that the brand of your website is the same as the name and the brand of your licenses, that you don't create, Medicare quotes for you.com as an online business when you sell offline differently. And then you want to make sure that there's some physical location connections. We'll talk more about that in a minute. Now, the most important search phrase, and this connects back to your brand, is your name. Before anything else, you need to make sure that you rank for your name. And so if you go into Google, you type in your name and you aren't found, it means that customers are not finding you. Search engines don't know that your website is about you. They haven't made that connection. And so here's a quick recipe to help get yourself started to make sure that you're getting found by your name. So you want to create a page on your site, a separate page that is an about you, about your name. Put a bio on there, 3 to 4 paragraphs about you. You can talk about your experience in the industry. You can talk about why you got into selling insurance. You can talk about what you did before, what you do when you're not working. You can get personal and talk about your hobbies and your family and your interests. But have some content about you. Put a picture of yourself on there. Make sure that your name is in the page title, in the page header. List your licenses, credentials, experience, and then go to LinkedIn and link to that page from LinkedIn. So in your LinkedIn profile, link to your About Us page. So start to help make those connections between your name, your website, and your licenses, credentials, experience, and your LinkedIn profile. You do this, this will start to tell search engines the site's about you, and you'll start to see that you will come up in the index. So the winning strategy is to show expertise, authoritativeness, trustworthiness by connecting your website to you, your biggest differentiator. This is your money or your life. And so that's the winning strategy. Now, Google's index certainly includes websites. They go and index the website. Google says that their index is 100 million gigabytes. I can't even think about how big that is. 100 million gigabytes. It includes millions of print books. So they've gone to libraries and scanned in print books. It includes, every directory. It includes every government database they can get their hands on. So all the state databases, the state employees, state licenses, Department of Insurance registrations, all of that is being fed into their index. Real estate data, property ownership, anything that's registered with a public record is getting indexed. And then also lots of third-party data. There's lots of third-party sources that are feeding in data. So you can think about, any sort of data source that you've ever looked at. If there's a, business directory, sort of other kinds of directories that you might pay to get access to, Google is feeding them into their database to support their index. So it's not just web pages. It's every piece of online content they can possibly get their hands on. They're putting into their database. So myth 3, and this is another I hear a lot. It's now that I'm online, I can sell anywhere. And when we're launching a new website, we always ask the agent, we always ask you, where do you sell? What's your geographic focus? And we often hear, well, with the website, I want to just all 50 states. I want to sell anywhere. I've got licenses everywhere. here's the reality. The more geography you cover, the more competition you're up against. So as you go from your home territory to all 50 states, you're up against way more competition, but you're spread way more thinly. And the further you are from your home base, the fewer differentiators you have, the fewer people you no longer have that home team advantage. There's plenty of people near you. If you're in a metropolitan region, you're going to be busy for life. If you're in a rural region, you can still look at your county or a couple of counties around you. There's plenty of people. There's plenty of people who need what you sell. People buy local. At the end of the day, people still prefer to work with somebody near them. That is a preference. And so when they look for information about insurance, they want to work with somebody who's near them, who knows their state, knows their state's products, knows kind of their situation. And search engines know that. And so if you try to sell nationwide, it's gonna make it really hard for you to see success online because you're going against what search engines want and you have way more competition. If you go to search engine, you type in something like life insurance, you're going to see that there are no independent agents in the top 10 results. So for primary search phrases, life insurance, Medicare supplement, auto insurance, you name it, you're going to see no independent agents on the first page. You'll see Wikipedia, you'll see large online brokers, you'll see carriers, you'll see associations, you'll see news. They take the first 10 spots. And you probably have to go to page 5 or more to start to see agents because it's so competitive. It might work to get on the first page nationally for hot tub covers or organic gluten-free hamster food or these really niche things, but you're not going to get there with markets like ours. And so instead, you really have to niche down. You have to focus on your geographic region. This is kind of fun. This is 2 searches for the exact same thing, exact same search phrase. The phrase is Whole Foods, Portland. Except the one on the right was searched in Maine, and the one on the left was in Portland, Oregon. Sorry, Oregon, Maine, Oregon. And you can see the results are very different because the relevance of Whole Foods in Maine is very different than Whole Foods in Oregon. If I was in Portland, Oregon, I typed in Whole Foods and they gave me directions to the store in Maine, and it was like 4,000 miles away, that wouldn't be very helpful. And so, imagine going and putting an online order in for curbside delivery and then discovering it was, like a 36-hour drive to go pick it up. The needs are very different. The results are very different. And so we're seeing more and more of this where search results are by default local. And so when somebody goes and types in information about insurance, there's a preference to show local agents, local content over national content. So the winning strategy is focus on your local geographic region. Resist the temptation. Going nationwide sounds great. And certainly pick up licenses, go where your customers take you. But for your online marketing, it's going to be really hard if you don't focus locally. Okay, so how do you do this? The good news is that local SEO is not hard. National SEO is really hard. Local is not hard, as long as you are in that location and doing business there. And so there's sort of 3 steps to it. The first is to show what your site is about. And this means having content on your site that is about the products that you sell. So if you don't have anything about auto insurance on your site, you're not going to rank for auto insurance. So if you sell auto insurance, put some content on your site about it. So that's there. The second is you need to kind of confirm or prove your location. And you need to show that you are where you say you are. And so this is done through these things we call citations, which are third-party directories and validations of your location. These are all those listings. So it's your Facebook page, your Google My Business, Bing has Bing Places, Yahoo, Yelp, Chamber of Commerce. There's about 60 different directories that you can list your business on. And you want to go through and make sure that you're listed in as many as possible. Certainly there's the major ones, Facebook, Google are the big ones. And verify that your name, your address, your phone number are exactly the same in all of them. So it's really clear you can connect the dots. And that should be exactly the same as the name and address and phone number on your website so that they all match. And then finally, you want to give them something to eat. This is that expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. And so this is reviews from customers, getting reviews on Facebook, getting reviews on Google, putting customer testimonials on your website. You want to keep your site updated, make sure that the content is fresh, it's relevant. You don't want to have a copyright 2017 in your footer. You want to make sure that if you have information about Medicare, that it's updated every year, information about Affordable Care Act, updated every year, so the dates are current, the dollar amounts are current, and that your site is reflective of what's happening right now. And then, of course, connecting your site to a real person and a real business, having your brand match, having it match your physical location, your physical name. All these things come together pretty quickly and create this local SEO, which is a really fairly straightforward process to getting ranked on search engines. So myth 4, and I get these phone calls. It's funny. I get calls, people will call me up and tell me they can promise to get me on the first page of Google, if I pay them or move my site to them. Someone calls you up and tells you, if you move your site to us, we'll get you on Google on the first page. We'll get you ranked. And the reality is that nobody can promise rankings on Google besides Google, and Google will never do that. And there are factors that they can't control, these companies. Certainly the technical aspects of your website, how it's built, are a piece of the puzzle, but they are far from all of it. The biggest part of this is you. And I think of it like a gym. If a gym calls you up and promises, hey, you join our gym and in 90 days, we'll get you 6-pack abs. And you're like, great. You sign up, and then 90 days later, you're like, hey, I don't have, you promised me I'd get this great 6-pack abs. And they say, well, you never came in. And that's true, because nobody else can promise it. Ultimately, you are part of the equation. You have to do part of the work. So there are some reasons to switch your site and some things that could hurt your factors. There certainly are some technical aspects. If your site is really slow, it's not mobile friendly, that's going to kill your rankings. If you have broken images, broken links, out-of-date pages, that's a problem. If your site isn't well structured, and I'll talk more about that in a bit, that's a problem. If it's kind of hard to navigate. If you can't control your content, if you can't go in and make changes to your content easily, if you can't go in and edit it, put in your own bio, those are reasons to change. Cheaper, low cost, $9 a month website hosting. If you're using a low cost host, that's going to kill your rankings. Those are where the vast millions of kind of low quality sites live. And so you want to make sure that your site is running in a fast, well-structured, high quality host. You're not going to find that for $9 a month. I'm sorry. Because otherwise, it's going to be too slow. It's going to hurt your rankings. So there are some reasons to switch, but it's not just because somebody promises you. This is the ranking pyramid, and this is sort of a way to think about different parts of your online presence and how you can structure them to get your site to start to rank. And the bottom one is technical structure, and this is the foundation. This is the techie stuff that if you're working with a high quality website provider, you won't have to worry about. But if you're not, it's going to kill you. So is your site secure? Is it secure via HTTPS? Do you have that little lock icon? That is a must. Is it mobile ready? Does it look great on tablets and phones? And does it adjust for the device that people are browsing on? Does it load super fast? Is it on a high quality web host that loads quickly? Or does it take a long time for the content to pull down? Is the site structured correctly so it's easy to navigate? Content is clearly organized. And then it sounds silly, but can search engines even crawl the site? And I've seen this a lot where sites that were built with a free platform or kind of a low quality system, search engines can't even read the site. That will kill you. Content is the second part. And does the site have good content? Is it well written? Is it engaging? Does it not have errors where it says Bellingham, Massachusetts 20 times on a page? Is it the kind of content that looks legit? Is it well organized? Is the content organized by section and easy to navigate, clearly structured? Does the content get updated? Is it fresh or has it been the same for 10 years? And then of course, can you update the content? So can you go in and put relevant news? Can you change it to fit what's going on with your business today? Can you add products as your business adds products? Can you make it reflect what you do? If you can't add products to your site easily, then you're not going to ever rank for those products. And then this pinnacle, this is the most important part, is the trust and authority. Is it clear whose site this is? Is it clear? Are there third-party endorsements or reviews? Is there validation of this business? Is there a clear sign that this business exists beyond just the website? Can that trust, authoritativeness, and expertise be established? And then do other trusted sites link to that site? So links are part of the equation, but it's not the only thing. Does the site have good relevant links back to it, showing that other businesses trust it? And again, remember that every piece of data available gets indexed. So insurance licenses, business licenses, real estate records, professional endorsements, Chamber of Commerce memberships, all of those things are getting put into the index, and making sure that you are part of the equation and you are the differentiator. So people still want to know, technically, how should my site work? And so here are a few things that you should make sure are part of your website. All of this is baked into the Agent Methods platform, by the way. So you shouldn't have to worry about it if you're an Agent Methods customer. The first thing is a descriptive page title. So that's that thing at the top of the browser that explains what this page is about. If there's one place you want to have a keyword, it's in that page title. Title of the page, descriptive. Consistent branding, your logo, your business name, your tagline, as well as your phone number should be on the same page, same place of every page. So it's really clear, really consistent whose site this is. A clear site structure is a site that isn't nested with lots of layers, isn't hard to navigate. You can quickly get from A to B. You can look at the site and see exactly how it's organized, where the content is, what it's about. The URL, which is the kind of the address of the page, where every page is located, should be human readable. What I mean by that is you should look at it and it should make sense. You should understand what that page is. So you don't want to see, page 1, page 2, page 3, or some series of numbers and letters, that don't make sense without knowing what the page is. So make sure those URLs are human readable. The content, clean and structured, well organized with proper headers and proper breaks, and then internal navigation, organized, easy to get around. It's easy to find pages within the site. These are all things you can look at pretty quickly to make sure that the site itself is structured well. And then a sitemap.xml file built into the site. And this just simply gives a list of all of the pages that should get indexed on a site, where they're located, and when they were last updated. So a search engine can come in and they can just grab this file and then immediately know what pages they should go look at to include in their index. And that makes sure that every page gets indexed, nothing gets missed. So again, the keys to your success is this trust and authority. So we have everything in the technical side and the content built into Agent Methods. That's why my demo site ranked, because this technical structure, content are taken care of. Even with no trust and authority, putting those things in place will get you a long ways towards success. But ultimately, trust and authority is the differentiator. That's what will establish you and create that moat that protects you for a long term. It takes time. Don't expect results in a day. Think in terms of months. You need to get other sites to link to you. So having relevant links from business partners, from associations you work with, from referral sources, accountants or realtors, estate attorneys. If you work with people like that, have them link to you and link to them. And then make your website part of your daily routine so that you are keeping it up to date, you're keeping it current, that it's something that adds value every day. And so a few things to do. The first one is online scheduling, and putting online scheduling on your website so people can go there and book an appointment with you. And so rather than having a quote form, let them go to your calendar and actually schedule a meeting. It's way better for them. They prefer it. It's way better for you because you have to chase them down and get that appointment. So embedding that in, and then making sure that your customers know they can always go there to book an appointment with you. Make sure all your prospects know that, so they go there to use it. Links to carrier resources. So all of the carriers you work with, all the resources your customers might need, put those there, and then drive your customers there whenever they need help. I've got this resource section. You can go there and you can get straight to your carrier. And then, of course, embedding in quoting and enrollment. So the way consumers want to work today is they want to go and educate themselves about pricing, products, options before they talk to you. And so this is where Quote It comes in to your website. Having Quote It embedded on your site so people can go there, they can start to see products, they can start to explore plans, they can learn about costs, they can learn about how they're different. Put that into the flow your customers go to. They're still going to want to talk to you. People do enroll without you sometimes, but more often than not, they're going to go look at rates, look at options, and then want to pick up the phone and have a conversation still. So you still need to be there to help them. But by putting in quotes enrollment on your site, you're going to engage your traffic and make them come to you because they're going to find what they need on your website. And so, putting all these things together creates that high quality experience that builds that trust, authority, relevance, and makes it useful in your business every day. So winning strategy is to work with technology partners that know your business. They're focused on insurance. They're focused on your success. They're focused on creating a great online experience for your customers and your prospects. I talked before about how Quote It and agent methods work together. We've been working closely together for several years, and the reason really is clear. We found that first off, consumers prefer it. They prefer to have a great website experience. They prefer to have a site that's educational, well designed, runs really well, and to be able to go in and begin to sort of self-service, look at quotes, look at products, engage online before they talk to you. And so it's really, really easy to connect your agent methods website with your quoting, with your Quote It quoting. And the beauty of it is that once somebody comes to your site, they start looking at quotes, that information automatically falls right into Quote It's lead management platform, which allows you to follow up, automate your relationship building, automate your outreach, and really scale your business very effectively. The two platforms work fantastically well together. Just a few more thoughts. So we're talking about growing your business. This is about search engines, but ultimately the goal here is to help you make more sales. And at Agent Methods, that's our focus, is to provide marketing tools and technology to help you do more, to help you increase your reach, increase your sales without adding to your workload. And these numbers, I'm really proud of this because our goal is to help agents, and we've seen that that's happening. So agents that are working with Agent Methods spend 47% less time marketing each month. So they cut their marketing work almost in half. That's a bunch more time they have available to do other things or to spend with their families, free time. And even though they're cutting that time in half, they're getting significantly better results. 60% increase in referrals. Think about what that would do to your business. If you can get 60% more referrals, that would be a life changer. 78% more customers buying multiple policies. And so this is cross-selling. This is having a customer buy more than one product from you. And the nice thing is that you make 2 sales or 3 sales or more, but even more than that, customers that buy more policies stay longer, you retain them longer, and they're more likely to refer you and stay with you. And then the last one is agents working with Agent Methods were 62% more likely to have their sales increase in the past year. And so end of the day, they're seeing more sales than other agents. Agent methods, we do insurance websites. So have an amazing website, content marketing. This is content that you can use to go out, engage with your audience, engage with your prospects, engage with your customers, to bring them closer to you, to help you build more relationships, to help you get more referrals, to help you retain your customers longer. We do automated social media. So we handle Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. We will update those every day to engage with your audience. And then a monthly email newsletter that goes out, and your customers see that to keep you top of mind, to keep you relevant and aligned with your audience. All right, I've been talking a lot, and I know there have been some questions, and so I'll go take a look at those. But just really quickly, if you're looking at this, if we're talking about improving your online presence, you need to make sure that you have the best website possible, because otherwise you're sort of cutting yourself off before you even get started. So if you are thinking about increasing your use of online marketing, if you're thinking about getting more traffic from your site through search engines, we should talk. If you're thinking about launching a website or making your website better, we should talk. Go to agentmethods.com, and there's that blue button, or because it's kind of greenish blue. It says schedule a live demo. Click on that. You can go straight to our calendar. We practice what we preach. There's no quote form. You go, you pick a time, schedule a meeting with us. Let's connect. Let's spend half an hour, talk about your agency, your business, what you need, and we'll show you how Agent Methods works and see if we can help you increase your sales. So go and do that. There is a special discount for attendees today. And so if you go and schedule today, I'd say go ahead and just do it right now. Go over to agentmethods.com, lock in a time, and then we'll go over that discount. It's going to save you half on setup and a little more than that. It's a really nice discount. That's good for today, for attendees that schedule a meeting today. So go and do that right now. Okay, I know we're in almost an hour. Let me take a quick look at some questions here. And I see a question about, your agency name. Okay, this is Michael asks, his agency name has Michael in the name. Using Mike on his website will not create a disconnect. So that's a good question. And the fortunate answer is it used to be that was a problem. Certainly what we're seeing is that search engines are learning that you can use replacements. So they know that Mike and Michael are the same name. I would go and do some Googling for your name. If your name is pretty common, you might type in, first name, last name, insurance agent, and see if it finds you there. Do make sure you can get found. Probably the best practice is to pick one, to go by Michael or to go by Mike, and make sure it all matches. But I realize that might not be possible. So see if you're found. And if not, then I'd work on improving your bio and look at ways to align the two. Okay. I see, Robert, you have a question. You have a website built that has, many of what we describe. We do not do SEO. We do not do standalone SEO. It's all built into our platform. Certainly, let's schedule a conversation, Robert, and we'll talk about, where you're at. Maybe we can give you some tips. Maybe you'll see that, moving over to our platform could be, beneficial. Maybe not, depends on where you're at. Let's have a conversation about that. Okay, Darlene asks, how do I get credit for self-enrollment? That's a great question. If you are using Quote It will have all that tracked, so that if somebody goes to your website and quotes and enrolls, you will get credit for it. So that's a question for Quote It, but I know they absolutely take care of it. Timothy asks, will the recording be sent out? I believe so. We are recording this. So we should be sending a recording out. And Steve answers the question. You have a dedicated link with your personal writing ID. Okay, that's great. So Steve is answering Darlene's question and kind of explaining more about how it works. Timothy, I see your question about discounts. Again, we have a promotion. We do have a discount for AHCP as well. So reach out to us and we'll go over that. And I think I did it. I've been talking for an hour. You're all probably done with hearing my voice. I think I got all of the questions answered. If I missed your question, first off, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. Second, let's schedule a conversation. Go schedule up a call, and we'll make sure that your questions get answered, and we'll go from there. With that, Josh, do you have any last words you want to say before we wrap up?
No, I appreciate your time today, Aaron, and everybody that attended. We will be sending some follow-up information. Would love to talk to you about how, Quotit's technology can interact and be embedded within the Agent Methods website, and how AHCP can handle your contracting and support needs as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, the way this all fits together is just perfect. And so, seeing the pieces, seeing AHCP's products, seeing Quotit's quoting, Agent Methods websites separate is nice, but then when you put it all together, I think it really is a superpower that will grow sales and just make life easier and better for everybody involved. So, all right, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you all for sticking with me. Thanks for attending. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've learned something today. I really appreciate the chance to talk to you. Steve and Josh, Joseph, thanks for organizing this. And I look forward to seeing you all again. We have another one of these presentations coming up in a few weeks. So I'll see you all there.